So do you think you actually get the message across to your audiences, or do you think maybe, you know, they're bopping along to the music and you lose that message in the music?
Well, I think, you know, there's many different levels to which people appreciate our music. I think some people may come along just for the blast of it all, for the uplifting response that is part of a U2 concert. And yet I think that most people, I have a great deal of respect for our audience. I think they're very intelligent people. I think they know what's going down. They know what separates this group from a lot of the other groups that were not just singing I love you, love, baby, true love over and over again. The needle isn't stuck on this record. We're trying to move on. We're trying to push out, writing about everything that affects us, everything and anything. There's no rules in this group. If there are rules, we try and throw them out.
Okay. Larry, do you think other bands should be more involved with putting political or social comment in their songs, or do you think that...
I don't think you can say that. I think music is music, you know, no matter where. You can't knock other bands for what they do. I mean, Culture Club are as relevant as U2 because they make people happy, and that's fair enough. So, I mean, it just depends on how the individuals in the band feel. We're not good at pretending. We're not good at sort of singing I love you, love, you know, we're much better at actually saying something that's the way we feel. It's not as if we made a decision, let's be a political band, because it's politics of people, not the politics of
a touch of honesty, actually, becoming...
Yeah, we're not a political band. It's very important. And we wrote a few songs, you know, on our last record, War, because it was so much mush on the radio. We just figured we've got to make some strong statements. We just got to separate. Music can be much more than just wallpaper music, as John Lennon used to call it. And now, in some ways, people expect that from us. And our new record, The Unforgettable Fire, the new LP, I think when you hear this, I think you'll realise that there's a lot more to the group than that. We're much more interested in people, in politics, just like what Larry said.
So you go another direction on this new album?
Yes. Yeah.
You have a new producer, in fact, two producers, because there was co-production.
That's right.
Who is the second guy?
Brian Eno worked with a guy called Daniel Lanois. He's a French-Canadian and very, very inspired musician. He was Producer of the Year in Canada, and but unknown to, I think, the rest of the world. He worked with Brian Eno in his production of the Apollo record, when NASA commissioned Brian Eno to do the music for the Apollo missions. They're putting out a film, and they've been working together for a few years, and then they came together to work with us.
Has it changed your sound a whole lot, do you think, Les?
It's given it a different dimension. It's not really changed a sound. We never really had a sound, but it's I don't know, it's hard to explain exactly what it's done, because, you know, I think we're a little bit surprised at the record ourselves. We're really a little bit not unsure about it musically or whatever. We're just unsure about where it's going, what direction it's taking, because, you know...
Don't you, anyway?
It's you too.
And you'll certainly be there when you find that direction, and it'll move on again, I guess.
We don't know where the hell we're going. We just enjoy going there.
Okay. Bono, Larry, it's been a pleasure to talk to both of you. Thank you very much for being on Sounds.
Follow. There's a new album from U2, just been released. It's called The Unforgettable Fire. There's also a half-hour documentary about the making of that album.
But first...
When we started becoming successful in Dublin, we had something really unique. You know, it wasn't a rehash of half a dozen other major acts that were going around at that stage. It was something that nobody had heard before. So when Island Records came to Dublin to see us, that's the thing that really blew them away, was that there was this band and they didn't sound like anyone else.
Right. Yeah, you know, people shouldn't try and copy us. Sometimes people come up and say, yeah, we've learned to play some of your songs, Bono. I say, forget about us, you know, play your own songs.
Right.
And they say, but I've nothing to say. I said, well, say that. Tell me you've nothing to say. That's a song. I had always felt that music should break down barriers rather than build them, you know. And there was so many factions amongst people at that point, you know. It was uniformed. I felt it was very conservative. I'm not into uniforms, like, you know, the suit and the tie bit that they were knocking, you know, people were knocking. Well, they were replacing it with similar uniforms, be it, you know, you know, I'm into this type of music. I listen to this, you know, I dance this way, I dress this way. I forget that, you know. Our music's about the individual. You know, what we have as a group, you know, is just the 4 people. And any hype that can just get in the way of the music's important. You know, this interview, you know, we wanted to do this interview because we felt we haven't been here before, that people don't know us, and we're scared about the interviews that they've heard or the impression they may have of us. And I suppose the reason we agreed to do this interview, and we don't do many interviews, is to show people in some ways how anything we are. We're just jerks like everybody else. We're just, you know, with no manifesto, with nothing to lay on people other than the music. Yeah. That's what it's all about.
That speaks better than, you know, words and language is so inadequate, you know, to express some things. I think music is far better suited, especially when it comes to emotions and feelings. You know, you can't articulate them. You can't really communicate them verbally, but I think through music it is possible sometimes to express the inexpressible, to actually, you know, people can see what you're trying to say without having to express it in words.
We wrote the Sunday Bloody Sunday as, you know, the rebel song to end all rebel songs.
Did you write it in anger?
Yeah, we wrote it in anger, actually. It says, how long must we sing this song?
I realised the lyrics,
it actually
when
says...
you actually sat down, were you angry or...?
Well, it actually says, let's not... Let this be the last song we write in some ways. I don't know if it is, but that was, I think, the kind of approach.
I think was the other emotion.
I think by that stage of what we'd been doing, which was we'd done the 2 albums, we'd done a lot of touring, and inevitably that issue came up, and I think perhaps we felt we had to deal with it and think about it in a way, because up to that point, when you come from a country which has that sort of thing going on, you do kind of tend to sort of try and forget about it rather than emphasize it. So we decided we had to really start thinking about it and have a responsibility to show people what we thought. And I think at the time when we were examining everything that was going on, we did become angry. I think we were angry because of the frustration of the situation, the fact that people's lives are being messed up by people being killed or maimed through no fault of their own, and that there's no struggle that actually justifies that. There are easier ways of solving those problems.
And also because in the US there was a lot of money was coming from the US to Ireland to support the men of violence on both sides of the fence. And our attitude was, you know, there's no glory to this. There's no glory. And I say to people here in Australia that you know, are sending money over. There are places, sure, where your money would be appreciated. Not the men of violence. We don't need money for bombs in the country. And that's what it was. We played it on stage in America. It was at the height of the hunger strike. You know, Bobby Sands was dying. And, you know, Bobby Sands, you know, he deserves respect. A man that was a very courageous man. And yet, I just don't see any reason for why he should die for that, for that cause. He shouldn't have taken it to that limit. And we were angry as we walked on stages in America. And I remember stages where they were throwing money on the stage. You know, they were yelling out, you know, Bobby Sands. I said, yeah, sure, Bobby Sands, but just keep your money to yourself. This is not the way. That's why we sang the song. But now when we sing it in a celebratory way. It's not a downer, it's upper. And the song's not just about Northern Ireland, it's about any political situation. It says, move over. There's more things. There's more things to be talking about.
But you know, you do achieve that more than perhaps anyone can.
The last lines to Sunday Bloody Sunday are, and it's true, we are immune. When fact is fiction and TV reality. And today the millions cry, we eat and drink while tomorrow they die. I was trying to make the point, maybe it's oversimplification, but while we're fighting over territorial borders, while we're fighting over religion, there's other people out there that there's no food in their bellies. This is the real battle. Forget about this. You know, this is probably getting, you know, see, we don't talk about this very often, by the way.
Now, on this Countdown Saturday special, we bring you David